Hello and welcome to today's episode. We are extremely excited. We're trying a new series out to help the drivers to learn different ways and better ways that they can make more money in less time. To do that, we are actually bringing on a driver who's been on the Rideshare Guy channel before, and he's going to talk to us every week about how much he made, lessons learned, and his goals moving forward. So this week and for the next few weeks, we're going to have Daniel. He's going to be letting us kind of follow him around and see what he does and how much he makes, and he's going to give us real numbers and screenshots and all that. We're not making things up. It's not going to be photoshopped or anything like that. So before I talk too much, we're going to introduce Daniel. And Daniel, thank you so much for being here today, for coming to the show, for being willing to be open and share all of your tips and tricks and kind of the behind the scenes. But let's open it up for you to introduce yourself for those who maybe didn't see the previous episode that you were on, and tell us about yourself and the area that you drive in.
Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Duke. I drive in the Phoenix, Arizona market, and I've been driving Uber for 7.7 years. I was a taxi driver for 12 years before that. I'm at 29,606 trips. 7 years, 7 months with Uber. And I've done, out of those 29,606 trips, I've done 7,010 deliveries. I used to do Postmates with, alongside with Uber back in the day before Uber bought it. But I think that some of those deliveries were mixed in. That's why it says 7,000. So, but
That's still an amazing amount of deliveries. 7,000. If you've been doing it 7 years, that's and 20. Was it 29,000? You're killing
yeah,
it with how many rides you're doing, how many
yeah.
requests and all that. So that's amazing. And you've had, I'm sure you don't have the records of the taxi driving and how many rides you did there either, but I'm sure you've got so
Well,
much experience, more than most drivers for sure.
I can't even imagine how many trips I've done in the last almost 19 years. I was looking at my profile here. I don't know. There we go. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
There it is. And 10,000 5-star trips, 7 years, little things at the bottom. But anyways,
Yeah. Appreciate you sharing that. So that's just Uber. What other apps do you drive for?
I do Amazon. Okay, when I signed up for Uber, and I hear it's really hard to get into the Amazon gig, but I signed right up at the same time, roughly after I signed up with Uber, because the reason I signed up for Amazon, because you can earn the same amount of money driving Uber, delivering packages and driving less miles. So Amazon's a good side gig to do, like if you say you want to meditate away from people for a while, you know, or, like there's days where I've done 30 trips in a single day, dealt with 30 different people. Those days are usually really good days, though, too. For instance, yesterday I dealt with 22 people and made over 300. And I made $307 yesterday. And there might be some more tips that'll fall in later. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a good point because sometimes you get tips. I've gotten tips weeks later sometimes too.
Yeah, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, maybe it's just a person they don't regularly use Uber, and then they close the app out, they forget. A week later, they open it up to order another Uber, and then your profile pops up. They rate you, give you a tip, and then you get a little pocket change that you weren't expecting.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's fantastic. So you've got all these different experiences and different apps that you drive for, which is awesome. But what's really interesting about your driving is the goal that you set and the fact that you come pretty close to reaching that goal. So tell us a little bit about what your goal is, why your goal is so high, and how close you've got to reach it in the last 3 to 6 months.
for goal for weekly, I like to try to reach the $2,000 week average. Daily goals at minimum 200. I would like to at least earn 200 at a minimum. 300 is a nice goal. I did a $500 goal because I was challenged on one of my Facebook groups, but the guy still owes me dinner. He did pretty good too. I mean, the camaraderie, I think, between drivers we need to support one another, not fight against you. Like, I don't see other drivers as my competition, because if I can do it, you can do it too. We're not in competition with each other. I'd say we're in competition with the apps, not with one another. And that's why supporting drivers is so important. We need to support one another, be positive with one another, and get rid of this negative energy that pulls us down. And negative energy will give you a really, bad day. If you wake up in the morning, or it could be that first customer ticked you off, but you hold on to that negative energy, you're going to have a crappy day the whole day. I mean, we've all done it. I've done it. We've all held on to some negative event while we were working, and it just trashed our whole day. Well, we got to learn. I've learned to let some of that negativity go, but I'm not perfect. I'm only human. The best thing is to try to give the rider a good experience. The other thing too is don't settle for less than what you're worth. As Sergio has said, Jeff Watts, barbecue mic drop. He stole the phrase, I hear, but it's a phrase, know your worth. And I think every driver needs to know their worth. Know what it's going to cost to fix your car if you own. Don't settle for trips that aren't going to pay you properly. Decline. There's a reason there's a decline button. I've actually, out here in the Northeast Valley where I live, sometimes late at night, they'll send, like, base pay for Uber Eats is $2. And, so if you get an offer and it's $5, the rider, the customer tipped $3. If you see a $7 order, then they tipped $5. As a driver that does both rideshare and delivery, I can bump up a $2 order with a $10 surge if an incentive's available. Deliver your food. And people who use the service think that the drivers are being paid well, but they're not.
I find, especially, I get asked all the time from people who've never driven for these different apps when they find out that I do. They, how much do you really make? And I'm like, well, I make what you tip me, really, because the companies themselves don't pay that much.
Yeah.
For sure. So I love you have these goals set in place. I love that challenge that you had, and I, he owes you dinner. You got to get your dinner, which is even better because you made a bunch of money and you get free dinner. But speaking of your goals, a goal is really just a goal at the end of the day, unless you actually reach it. So, how have you done with your goal? You said around $2,000. Sometimes you try to get more, but how have you done with that goal?
One of my latest mottos that I've been working by is if the trip's not profitable, I decline it. No surge. Usually lately it's the surges that make the trips profitable. I don't know what Uber and Lyft would do if drivers would decline all the unprofitable trips. What would happen if every driver out there, I think behavior modification technologies, they play on driver desperation. I'm renting a vehicle, but am I desperate to take that $3 trip? Am I desperate to accept something that's not going to pay me for my time and effort? These are questions every driver needs to ask themselves. Are you willing to settle for peanuts, or do you want the bigger prize, And the other thing too is I remember the days where I would drive around and I would constantly keep the requests on, and I'd always have one trip after another. It's like being on a treadmill. Well, now that I keep my requests off, or I usually will keep the attributes that would send me requests off. Sometimes I'll completely turn the button and keep everything off. If you do have a surge, you don't want to turn requests off until you get the rider in your car and you've started the trip. Because if the rider cancels and you have your requests off as you're traveling to your rider, you'll lose your surge token or you'll lose your incentive. It'll be gone. It'll go poof. Unless there's other incentives around. Don't turn your requests off until you have the rider in your back seat and you've started their trip. Then go into your app, turn your requests off, because you've guaranteed that token once you've started your trip. Otherwise, if you don't have Uber Pet on your profile, add Uber Pet in there because that's an attribute you can turn on and it'll help you. You can turn all your other attributes off and it's going to be rare if you get pinged with an Uber Pet.
So yeah, those are some great tips for drivers to be able to make as much money as they're looking for. So with your goal of $2,000 a week, are you typically able to make that?
Typically it averages out. Some weeks I go over 2,000. Some weeks I come in at 17, 1,800. But then if I look at the long breakdown, it's pretty good. Like last year, like on my earnings, total earnings, it was six figures, 123,000, I believe. Out of that, 25,000 were incentives. I haven't done my taxes this year yet, and I do have big write-offs for the rental. So those are going to be some big write-offs. And then, as a driver, if you're driving your own personal car, because I drove my own personal car for six years of Uber. You want to depreciate your vehicle. You want to, one of the things I write off, if I go to and get something at the grocery store while I'm working for lunch, you take a screenshot of that receipt, you upload it to wherever you're saving your receipts, and then that gets written off as meals and entertainment while you're on the job. I mean, it's all those meals and entertainment while you're working on the road, those will add up to a good tax write-off as well.
Yeah, that's a great way to keep as much money as possible as well. I know you typically make 2,000. Let's talk about last week though. You told me that you made a lot less than your goal.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Why was it that we made less last week than typical?
Okay, let me tell you the exact amount that's on there right now. 965.61. The online hours, because they don't track active hours. I wish Uber would just show drivers their active hours, the hours that their car is actually moving with customers in them. The way I track my active hours, though, is I just look at my remaining driving time. And I figure whatever remaining driving time is left over, then, like yesterday, I had an hour and 37 minutes. So technically, I figure my active hours was 10 hours and 23 minutes of active time, and I earned $300 in 10 hours of active time.
That's pretty amazing. $30 an hour. I mean, there's expenses and other things there, but that's still really, really good for that. So, last week, appreciate you sharing those numbers. You made a lot less, about half of what you typically would. But you had some family issues and things that you had to take care of. What's great about this gig work, and I think you'll appreciate too, is that yes, I'm going to make as much money as possible on weeks I'm working, but the reason that I'm a gig worker and do type things like this is so that I can take care of what's really important, which is personal things, family things, and things like that.
Yeah. Now, if I go back one more week, okay, I got to show you this week. I took Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off, okay? And I earned $1,400.
Yeah, almost $1,500.
Yeah, almost $1,500, yeah.
So that's amazing. And so, we love seeing those numbers, those real numbers. So this week, you've got the goal to hit that 2,000 again. We're going to keep this interview nice and short because we want everyone coming back next week for next week's interview when we find out how well you do this week.
I'm hitting this week as hard as possible.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing those numbers, and we're also going to talk a little bit more about some of the different tools and things that you use to make sure that you're keeping track of all of your expenses, making as much money as possible. I also want to talk about the rental car, how that works, and you have a very interesting philosophy about renting a car. We're going to talk about that in a future interview as well, so we really appreciate it. Real quick though, Daniel, is there anything for this week before we close out that you want to make sure that our viewers get to hear and know about when it comes to driving yourself or anything else?
Well, there is a new motto going around, under 5 decline. I don't think any driver should hit accept if it's under 5, to be honest with you. And even a lot of the $5 trips should be declined as well. We're each our own individual. We're each running our own businesses, and we're each having to make decisions for ourselves that affect us. What I do doesn't affect you. Think about what you're doing in your business. And as Go Gig It Ron has said, if the contract's good, accept it. If it's not a good contract, decline it and look for something better. I don't always have to have somebody in my car 24/7. I don't want someone in my car 24/7. I need a little bit of meditative space between customers. I don't want the constant in my car kind of deal like some drivers. I guess some drivers like that, but that's the virtual treadmill I want to avoid. And oh, one other thing that I'd like to add is so yesterday I earned more dollars than total miles driven. And that includes the personal miles I drove in the Tesla too. I made more dollars and drove less miles. That's one of my goals, that I like to drive less miles and earn more money than the more or less than $1 a mile.
Great things. I think that's a great goal for everyone. I try to do that as well. And I keep track of it, because if you don't track things, goals are great, but unless you track it, you don't know if you're hitting it or not. So, Daniel, thanks so
Correct.
much for being on here. We look forward to next week's interview as well. We'll reach out and make sure we get everything on there for you. And until next time, everyone, stay safe out there.
Thanks.